Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lee McCluskey and it's my great my great privilege to be your host for today. This forum is, I think, a real milestone, and it's an initiative of a partnership between the Sexual Assault and Family Violence Centre, formerly Barwon Casa Minerva, and the City of Greater Geelong. So today's session is really about sharing information, but also about being interactive. So we're using some technology today, or this morning, called Slido. So I'd ask you to have a look on your devices for www.slido, and then there is an event number you need, which is 2675. This enables you to type some questions that will pop up on my screen here and that I can put to some of our guests. For those of you who don't have technology with you today, we do also have some roving mics. So our format today is that we're going to have each of our speakers who will present, and then we'll have about 5 minutes for questions after each speaker. However, after the morning tea break, they will gather up here on the dais and we'll have a group discussion. So there's two opportunities to speak to our fabulous presenters today. I'd like to officially welcome this morning the leaders that we have present in the room from the City of Greater Geelong, Mayor Bruce Harwood, Peter Murray, Deputy Mayor, also councillors Stephanie Asher, Jim Mason and Sarah Mansfield. A very good morning to Christine Cousins, MP, Helen Bolton, the CEO of the Sexual Assault and Family Violence Centre, Kelvin Spiller, CEO of the City of Greater Geelong, and we do have a really impressive lineup of speakers this morning. Christine Cousins, who I acknowledged as a member for Geelong, will be presenting, along with Professor Jane Den Hollander from Deakin, Dr Amanda Green, Gina McColl, Scott Holmes. So I suppose the big question this morning, why are we here? Well, really, this morning is about trying to gather knowledge of gender equity practices in the workplace, the benefits to organisations in creating positive workplace change. Why don't we have gender equity? What are some of the barriers to achieving that? And what are some of the strategies to actually getting it over the line? And who and how do you need to bring these practices to fruition? So as I said, today we will hear about the challenges, the stories, the strategies, and hopefully we will all walk out not only inspired, but committed to genuine change.
So, and I also thank them for their care of our waterways and land. And congratulations to Karina again, a fantastic welcome to country. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge the VIPs here today and the City of Greater Geelong councillors and staff and CEO. Thank you for your support. And also congratulate Barwon Minerva and the City of Greater Geelong on this amazing project. It's really exciting. I also want to make mention of Jane's work in Geelong and how important that has been to not only Geelong but the entire community and region. You really do have some great work that you've done, and we do very much appreciate it. I do also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge the late Fiona Richardson and the work that she's done, because without her we wouldn't be standing here today. And I also want to acknowledge the current minister, the new minister, Natalie Hutchins. And I'm not sure if people are aware, but Natalie's husband passed away just recently. And these are two progressive, strong, determined women that are great role models for the rest of Victoria, if not the entire country. The work that they have done has just been extraordinary. So I really do want to acknowledge the work that they've done and put them up there as role models for us to look to. For survivors of family violence, the scars run deep, and for some, these scars will never be healed or close. Our approach to prevention is grounded in the knowledge that family violence is a deeply gendered issue. As a government and as a community, we have a responsibility to do something about it, and cultural change and prevention is crucial. Today is a step towards this. The Andrews government's 10-year plan ending family violence, Victoria's plan for change, firmly aligns with Safe and Strong Victoria's gender equity strategy. It addresses the social conditions, structures and practices influencing the individual attitudes, beliefs and behaviours that lead to violence. Gender equity in the workplace is an issue I have been passionate about for a long time. And in my role in the past as President of the Geelong Trades Hall, we actively took up the issue of equal pay, access to childcare and early learning, flexible work, equal opportunity, sexism, sexual harassment, bullying and workplace violence. We also took up issues around appropriate clothing for women in the workplace. But I knew these were small scale. Having a win on individual situations does not change an entrenched culture. I knew that unless there was a significant commitment from government, business and the broader community, it was a bit like swatting flies. We need cultural change and we all need to be working on it together to achieve it. For a range of reasons across society, including the workplace, women are particularly vulnerable to economic insecurity and financial hardship. Women's workforce participation and economic security are fundamentally affected by poor workplace cultures, including the experience of sexism, gender discrimination and sexual harassment. Contributing factors to women's economic insecurity and the gender pay gap include discrimination, reduced workforce participation due to greater share of unpaid caring and domestic responsibilities, women and men working in different industries and different jobs, female-dominated industries and jobs attracting lower wages, and a lack of public recognition of women's leadership and expertise. That's why the Andrews Labor government launched Safe and Strong, Victoria's first gender equity strategy, and we are getting on with it. The government also recognises that at the public sector level, women earn less than men, largely owing to their concentration in lower paid occupations. Women are more likely to work part-time, with part-time salaries being comparatively lower than full-time equivalent salaries. The landmark gender equity strategy targets the gender stereotypes, discrimination, lack of support, recognition and value placed on unpaid care and work that result in the gender pay gap and the women's economic insecurity. Victorian women are not rewarded equitably for their contribution in all aspects of society, including the workplace. The government has undertaken work under Safe and Strong to address the gender gap and discrimination in the workplace. And this includes establishing the Equal Workplaces Advisory Council to guide and advocate to the government and Victorian employers about practical ways to achieve gender pay equity in Victorian workplaces. To meet the Premier's commitment to increasing the representation of women in new appointments to paid public boards to 52%, up from 39% since setting the targets in March 2015. Launching 2 women's leadership programs, the Joan Kerner Young and Emerging Leadership Program for Women and the Women on Boards Leadership Program. Funding a number of programs to increase the economic security and leadership of women from culturally and linguistically diverse communities. These programs also provide financial counselling and mentoring to women at risk of economic abuse. We're supporting women in small business through mentorship and workshops for women interested in setting up small business in Victoria. And we've promoted, connected and strengthened women in business, small business. We're encouraging women and girls to undertake study and careers in science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine. And in saying that, part of that is things like the new tech school that we're building over at the Gordon, just over here, which will start to address some of those inequities. In 2018, we are continuing to roll out reforms to address inequality in the workplace and the gender pay gap, including develop a Gender Equity Act to embed strong governance structures and to promote and improve gender equity across government. Introducing gender auditing in the Victorian public sector to measure and improve performance in pay equity, flexible working and organisational culture, and hosting a one-day conference targeting Victorian employers and industry leaders to champion gender equity and equal pay in their workplaces. And there's more information about that if people are interested. I know in Geelong we have many women who want to help this agenda. This is why I have established the Geelong Gender Equity Coalition, and it's very much in its infancy. I strongly believe that to change culture we need to work at all levels, including at the grassroots. Victoria is leading the way on gender equity with sustained, enduring and measurable action. I'm sure Geelong can be a significant part of that action. thank you for having me here today, and congratulations on a fantastic forum. Thank you.